Ever since the launch of the iPhone X back in 2017, Apple has clearly stated that Face ID is the best of any biometrics and they're gonna prefer it over anything else. And that's the only reason why we had the iPhone XS, 11, 12, and even 13 series, or even 14, and even 14 and 14 Plus with a notch. And the notch is something that some people really didn't care, but some people really hated it, but nobody loved it. With the dynamic island though, that kind of changed because it now got a little more functionality and it seems there is a little more space, even though there isn't. It's just illusion. But it is not something that's gonna stay for long. According to a recent rumor that surfaced on the Korean Naver blog, Apple might launch iPhone featuring under-display Touch ID. Yes, we're going back to Touch ID, but this time under the display 2 to 3 years after the under-display Face ID makes its debut. So that simply means we can expect under-display Touch ID on iPhones as soon as 2026. And this also falls in line with the recent patent Apple managed to secure. So yeah, it is coming. But it is still somewhat confusing to see that Apple is thinking of even going back to Touch ID after such a crazy technology as Face ID. But just like every single technologies, both Face ID and Touch ID have their own unique strengths and weaknesses. Touch ID under the display would be real crazy on an iPhone. So now if you are someone who is a Face ID fan but you don't want it to have a dynamic island, what is the solution? Well, a number of reports have already indicated that Apple is reportedly working on an under-display Face ID sensors and the technology will arrive sooner than later. And this one will leave you with one cutout for the selfie camera, but everything else will be under this display. However, Ross Young actually claimed in a tweet that under-display Face ID could be pushed back to 2025. And early rumors said that it will happen in 2024, next year. But just like every single year, the Pro and the Ultra or the Pro Max model will actually come with the Face ID underneath the display first, and then it will also be used inside the standard models after that year. So things are happening for good, but they're gonna take time. But I think what Apple should do if they want to keep the Face ID, they should put Touch ID and Face ID all at the same time. So whoever wants whatever, they will have it on the Pro and the Ultra model. That will be justifying the price. According to elect sources, next year's 11 and 13-inch iPad Pros are currently expected to cost about $1,500 and $1,800 respectively, just because of the OLED panels, which is almost double that of that base $800 price tag of current iPad Pro, like the 11-inch one. It's crazy to think about. Maybe Apple will only launch the Pro models at a 512GB or a 1TB variant of them, so that will kind of justify the prices of them. But other than that, no, hell no, because 108GB at that price wouldn't really make sense, and the rest of the iPad market will actually be covered by the iPad Air and the standard iPads. I think that would make sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about these crazy things that are coming to the iPhones or even the iPads? And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website, a link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.